Okay, then let's have a look at 28. We need to sketch this quadratic here, y equals x squared plus x minus 6, and sketch this straight line, y equals 2x minus 1, and find any points of intersection. Well, the first thing I'd like to do is find out the roots of this quadratic, because for the purposes of the sketch, it's one of the key features of the quadratic. So here, that equals 0, so I can just do an ABC. So it's one lot of, isn't it? That's A. There's a one lot of x, so I can put that down as b, and the c is minus 6. So x equals then, let's just work it out, minus b, which would be minus 1, plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is the 1 squared minus 4, times a, which is 1, times c, which is minus 6, all over the two lots of a. 2 times 1 is 2. Yeah, 2 times 1. So you get minus 1 then. Now this is 1 squared, minus times minus is a plus, 4 sixes is 24. 24 times 1 is still 24, plus 1 is 25. Root 25, I can just write down 5, can't we? And 2 times 1 underneath is 2. So that's equal to then minus 1 plus 5 is 4 over 2. Agreed? 5 take 1 is 4, over 2 is, so that will be 2. 4 over 2 is 2. And then you've got minus 5, minus 1, minus 5, which is minus 6 over 2. You end up with minus 3. Okay, there are roots. So I'm going to do a little sketch now. Here, there's x, there's y, and there's 0. Now I know the roots, so I can make a quick sketch. There's 2, there's minus 3. It's a U-shaped curve, so it's going to come down. It was U-shaped because the x squared term was positive, a was positive, and so we have a U-shaped curve. Here's our graph then of the quadratic. Y equals x squared plus x minus 6. Right, now we want to find the points of intersection. So when does this, oh, we need to sketch the straight line. So let's just do that then. Now what value is this? Is that minus 1? Because I want to put minus 1 in the axis. I want to see where on this vertical axis this intercept should be placed for the sketch. If I input 0, I can see that's going to be minus 6 here. Agreed? If I put 0 in here for x and 0 in here for x, I'll end up with y as minus 6. So I don't need that value, but I've just looked at it so that I could just write down where the line goes through. So I can put that point as minus 1 there. Oh, great. So I've got rid of my 0. Managed to get rid of the curve as well, of course. So I'll do the curve again. This value is minus 1, and it's of gradient 2, so I got a feeling that clearly will go back up above it. So I'm going to draw my line now, like so. And I'm going to draw it reasonably shallow so that it highlights that the line goes through the quadratic here and there. Okay then, so we've got 2 points of intersection. There's P1 and P2. So at P1, P2, let's work those points out then. What have we got? We've got the y values will be the same, won't they? At P1 and P2, the y values of the line and the quadratic will equal one another. So we can simply write x squared plus x minus 6 must equal to 2x minus 1. Now we need to move things around, so we get x squared. Leave the x squared where it is. Move the 2x over, but it's minus 2x. Got an x there already. Take 2x is going to be minus 1 lot of x. The minus 1 can come over to be plus 1. Minus 6 plus 1 is minus 5. There we go. So this again, we're going to have, I'll use the formula because it's just a simple process. So it's minus b. So I'm going to just write it down. A is 1. B is minus 1, agreed. And C is minus 5. So minus b would be minus minus 1, so that's plus 1. Plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is minus 1 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is minus 5, all over 2a. And 2a is 2 times 1. So what have we got for our x values then? We've got 1 plus or minus b squared, which is 1, minus, there's 2 minuses here, so 4 5s are 20. 20 plus 1 is root 21 over 2. So we've got 1 plus root 21 all over 2. And we've also got, and I'll move down here, give us a bit more room, I think. Let's focus on the x values, yeah? We've also got 1 minus root 21 over 2. There's our two values. So I'll just do it to 1dp, get the calculator, and let's tap that in. Okay, so we've got 1 plus root 21 over 2, so on the top bracket, 1 plus the square root of 21. Outside the square root, close the bracket, divided by 2. Yeah? Equals decimal 2.8 to 1dp. So that was 2.8. And the next one, just toggle back and put a minus. So just flip a minus in there. Equals, get the decimal, minus 1.8. Agreed? 1.79 rounds up to minus 1.8. Minus 1.8. So these are the x values. We need to get the y value. Now if we go back to our quadratic straight line, we've got y equals 2x minus 1. See it there? So that's the easier one to use to get the y value for the points of intersection. So I'll use that one to get the y values for these x values. So here, y equals 2x minus 1, which equals, put the 2.8 in then, 2 times 2.8 minus 1, and put the minus 1.8 in, minus 1.8 minus 1. So that equals then, 2 times 2.8 is 5.6, take 1 is 4.6 to 1dp, minus 3.6, 2 lots of minus 1.8 is minus 3.6, minus 1 is minus 4.6. So there's the two values. So P1 has coordinates. Now the P1 was down here, was the negative one. So when x was negative and y was negative, so that would be minus 1.8 minus 4.6, and this bit so, and P2 then, well that would be when x is 2.8 and y would be 4.6. So let's just have a quick look at see if that looks about right. Yeah, so you see them? This P1 would have two negative coordinates, and this P2 would have two positive, which is what we've got. That looks fairly okay, doesn't it? Alright then. So, and there's the sketch. Okay, good.